Oh my god, I can't believe it was good to see this match.
Too many. The first match that comes to mind is going to sound cliche and it's going to sound like another easy way out. You know, I would have to say, as somebody who was born in '75, grew up in Brooklyn, first professional wrestling show I ever went to was January of '86 at the Garden. Based on that, honestly, I'd be belying myself if I didn't answer by saying Randy Savage versus Ricky Steamboat at WrestleMania 3 is probably a match that any wrestler who is trying to ply their trade, hone their skills, advance in the business, move up in the industry, any wrestler worth their salt should look into any, whether it's a house show match in Toronto, Boston, or whether it's actually WrestleMania 3 in Pontiac, Michigan. Any wrestling fan and anybody coming up in the wrestling business wanting to get involved should definitely look at Randy Macho Man Savage and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, because as Savage as a heel, Steamboat as a babyface, they played their roles perfectly and they paved the way. And the people who we watch today in 2010 have learned well, if they're doing their jobs correctly, from watching matches such as that.
So we're here at the Big Apple Comic Con. Is there any way you can show us your geek credentials? Any Star Trek, any comic books that you grew up with?
I wish I could. You know, I collected comics back in '91. When I was 16 in high school, I collected comics probably for about 9 months to a year. What I remember from that time period was the X-Men crossover with the gatefolds when it was X-Men 1 and Uncanny X-Men like 281, 283, something like that. I remember that. I remember there was a 6-issue series called the Infinity Gauntlet. I remember that. But beyond that, you know, I collected in '91. I tried to get back into it around 2004. Did it for a few months. But those were my two short entries into the comic book world. I was a big baseball card collector. So I collected baseball cards in the second half of the '80s. But beyond that, you know, everything I did was kind of wrestling related. And I just tried my best to absorb as much as I can, and I stayed focused on that.
Now, before you go, is there anything you want to tell any of our fans, any young wrestling fans, anybody who wants to know, you know, what can help me take the next step further?
Professional wrestling is storytelling in a physical form. It's like reading a book, but it's more like watching TV or a movie. But sometimes it's even more psychological because it needs to be, even though it is physical, that TV or movies can be. So if you're into professional wrestling, or if you're thinking about getting into it, it is a pure form of storytelling that has been around for over 100 years, back to the carnival days, back to Abraham Lincoln. And if you're into professional wrestling or getting into it now, just appreciate and absorb as much of it as you possibly can. Hopefully everything will continue to rise as it is now. WWE on a global scale is flourishing. TNA continues to survive and thrive after a number of years, and they're poised to be able to do whatever it is they wish to achieve. continue to watch professional wrestling. I think that it's an unbelievable way to entertain yourself, to lose your worries, and beyond that, the choice is yours, whether it's WWE, TNA, ROH, Evolve, your local independent promotion. Watch professional wrestling, and you truly will be entertained to the furthest that you could ever imagine.
Now, if anybody wants to get a hold of you, email, do you have a website or an email that you like to give out to people?
Yeah, absolutely. If you'd like to get in touch with me online, you can do so. My Facebook page is MXW Joel Gertner, and my Twitter account is MXW Wrestling. And either one of those works well. And if you'd like to get in touch with me, I'm accessible, and I'm more than happy to speak with everybody. Thank you.
One quick question, just real quick. What's your favorite in-ring poem?
My favorite?
Because I'm a fan of every single one. I've YouTubed everything. Your favorite one. It's so hard to pick.
Like quintessential stud muffin.
The whole Joel, exact, there you go.
Even though it's back-breaking.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of good ones you had.
The first one that comes to mind is,
You know, in there, the certificate's got everything.
I always leave them screaming and California dreaming, cause I'm a pussy-licking demon with vanilla-flavored semen. Gertner.
Awesome, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Alright. Oh no, we didn't record it. Hope you enjoyed the second part of our interview. If you're interested in befriending Joel Gertner on Facebook, it's MXW Gertner at Facebook, or on Twitter, MXW Wrestling. Once again, I hope you enjoyed this. And for more interviews and for our weekly podcast, you can reach us at strangerswithcomics.com. Thank you very much, and hope to hear from you soon.